It's time to celebrate the weekend's arrival. Grab a freshly brewed bean-to-cup crazy good coffee. Build your best blend and customize with our wide variety of creamers and toppings. Get what you need to get back on track today. Wherever you're headed in Atlanta, Racetrack's here for whatever gets you going. And you'll be here before you know it. We're never far away. You'll find us just off Atlanta Highway. Racetrack. Whatever gets you going.
When you buy Kroger brand products, you feel like you're winning. That's because they offer proven quality at lower than low prices. In fact, we guarantee that you and your family will love how Kroger brand products taste, or you get your money back. So next time you're shopping for the family, look for delicious Kroger brand products, because they'll make you all feel like you're winning. Shop now, in-store, or online. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
It's time for a Big Blue Kickoff Live.
Nobody can ever tell you that you couldn't do it, because you did.
On Giants.com.
You know what I saw? New York Giant pride.
And the Giants mobile app.
17-14 is the final. One touchdown, we are world champions. Believe it, and it will happen.
Part of the Giants Podcast Network.
Let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs. Have some fun.
And welcome to Friday's edition of Big Blue Kickoff Live, presented by Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Football Giants. So glad you could join us today. Paul Dottino, Jonathan Casillas, as we take you through the next hour of Giants football. And I got to tell you, it was just a picture-perfect day in East Rutherford. Jonathan, could we possibly bottle this and repeat it for the next 4 weeks?
That'll be awesome. It was an amazing day today.
Really
it was a little warm, but it's getting warmer now. Like they did practice early, so
Yeah.
it was a good time to get out there, get after. It was a beautiful sunny day. It's a good day to play some football.
Well, as a player, let me ask you about weighing the benefits of comfort as opposed to the benefits of the conditioning that coaches would like you to have when the day is a little less comfortable.
You know what? I was having a conversation today with a couple of guys, talking about the Guardian helmets and how, like, most of the guys are not going to get exposed to helmet-to-helmet contact until that first preseason game. And I don't know about that. I feel like me playing, I was in the days of two-a-days. My first couple of years we had two-a-days, and we were banging third day of practice, and we went live tackling. Like, we did a lot of things to prepare us for the season. And look, in hindsight, it might have took a year off my life, total, seriously. But it definitely prepared me for the season. I know that for sure. Because the helmet-to-helmet contact is going to happen during the season, right, no matter what position you play. And I'm a little questioning that a little bit, but they're putting in rules to, express safety and make sure that they're doing safety. But my thing is, does the science represent that? And that's a real question for me. I really want to know that, because a lot of guys are getting injured earlier in the season now, because I don't know if they're actually prepared for the season with the limited amount of reps that they get out there. It's a little vanilla. But for me, my first few years in the league, I was in New Orleans, and it was a very hot and humid training camp, 2 days. So for me, it was like miserable. Like, it was really bad.
Well, that's actually what I was intending to ask you when I formulated the question. I wasn't really talking about the helmets. I was talking about the conditioning, because over the years, when I started, the Giants were at Pace, and then FDU Madison, and then Albany. And there were times at Pace and at FDU Madison in particular, because upstate in Albany, humidity tends to be a little lower. But when they were here, like at FDU Madison, oh man, the humidity was stifling. And sometimes they'd have 3-a-days.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, coaches will tell you that's what toughens a player up. But that's also not very comfortable either.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Playing football is not comfortable.
Right.
I feel like the guys out there that's playing, that's suited up, they have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. So leading into what you were saying earlier, like, I would go to Arizona, and I made sure I went to Arizona for at least 3 weeks every single season to train right before the season started, because it was 120 degrees.
Dry though.
And then we would practice outside at like 3 p.m. in the middle of the heat. And that was different, humidity wise, but that extreme uncomfortability, like you're burning up hot. Like, your feet are hot. Like, we had to take our cleats off, water our cleats, like stuff like that, because training camp was tough. training camp was rough, and it's not as rough anymore. So you were talking about conditioning, but that's also what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about just cardiovascular conditioning. I'm talking about muscular conditioning and your shoulders and getting your neck in the right position to take those type of hits, because it's not just about cardio in football. You know that.
Right.
You know, you have to have, physical and mental toughness that comes with the collisions that you do on every single play.
That's why boxers spar.
Right, but look, even some boxers don't spar. Max Holloway is one of the greatest UFC fighters, literally boxer, in the octagon. He doesn't spar. But then you got, what's his name, Strickland. He spars the most out of everybody. Contrasting fighters, but at the same time, different approaches, great results. They've both been champion at one point. So it's like, who's right in this thing? Who's right?
Whew, man, I'm just glad that as an announcer, I don't have to worry about any of this.
Yeah. That's up to the coaches.
That's
and
all I got.
Joe Shane.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
Our phone number is 201-939-4513, 201-939-4513. Give us a call, and we'll pop you up on the air and enjoy talking Giants football with you. As a reminder, you'll be able to find an archive of this show and our entire podcast network on the Giants mobile app, podcast platforms everywhere, and giants.com/podcasts. All right, so let's talk about the news of the day and some of the things we saw at practice. First up, Jermaine Illuminor has already impressed the coaches and his teammates. You'll recall the other day, he got kind of like elbowed and shoulder blocked in the side and bruised his ribs by Dexter Lawrence and had to leave practice early. Yesterday, he was very limited in what they did. And before practice today, Coach Brian Daboll told us he'll probably get back into full practice by Monday, which is the first day in pads. Well, guess what? He was out there today in full practice.
Good.
And John Runyon, who did speak to the media earlier today, talked about how that does send a signal to your teammates about how much you want to play. This is a veteran who's been in this league for a number of years. And believe me, if he had expressed soreness to the trainers, I'm sure they would have given him a pass.
Yeah,
he was out there.
Ronnie Barnes is definitely a player-friendly trainer. He's the head trainer for the Giants. He's been the head trainer for how many years?
Forever.
30 years.
40-something years.
Insane. So he definitely takes care of the guys. And he probably was like, hey, man, you probably shut it down a day or two. He was like, nah, I'm not. He want to get out there and not only prove to himself, but to the coaches. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know he has a great reputation coming in here, coming from Oakland and, playing multiple positions. But
Vegas.
Now, I'm showing my age now.
That's okay.
Coming from Vegas.
Hey, I remember the Boston Patriots, okay?
But now he can show them that he's not only physically tough, but mentally tough as well.
Yeah.
Because he's still hurting. If he just got his ribs bruised, they're still bruised. They're not instantly healed.
No.
The next time you come out. No.
Especially when hit by Dexter Lawrence.
I asked, I was like, so what happened? It was like, oh, Dexter Lawrence. I saw, you don't need to say anything else.
No, that's it.
You don't need to say anything else.
Gotcha.
That's what happened. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. It happens, and guys like that who are willing to kind of sacrifice, not I want to say their health, but sacrifice a little bit of a rest to show that I'm here to work. I'm here to fight. I'm here to put my body on the line. I'm here to put it all on the line for you guys. And that's inspiring for sure. And, when the first time we signed him and I did my little research on him and I heard the way he spoke, I was like, oh, he's great for the locker room. He's great for the locker room. No, he's a good player. But, establishing culture, which Daboll is still doing.
Yeah. Shane,
they're still establishing culture going into year 3. You need, vital pieces like that. And, why not among the offensive line?
All right, so that was some good news. Timmy Horn, lineman, did not work today, a bit sore, and he was unavailable for practice. But and Tyler Nubin, I believe Coach said he expects him. He was also, I think he had a sore calf. He expects him to be back at practice in another day or two. So that's it as far as the injury report is concerned. Didn't see anybody get nicked up this morning. I think everybody
was clean practice today.
Everything was clean this morning.
Yeah, looked good.
Some plays I want to go over. I don't know if you saw all of them from your vantage point, but some plays I want to go over which really thrilled the people here who were in attendance. There was back-to-back plays by Daniel Jones.
On that second to last drive.
Yes,
yep.
You saw those. Okay,
yes,
I'm glad you did.
Amazing passes.
Okay, I I'll explain the plays, and then Jonathan can go further into detail. Bomb down the right sideline, Neighbors one-on-one against Tay Banks, and Neighbors came down with the ball, inbounds, crushes to the ground, holds on, completed pass, first down Giants near the goal line.
What was that, 40 yards, you think? How
Oh,
far
it
was
had
that?
to be about
40,
it
probably.
looked like it.
30, 40.
It looked like it.
Yeah.
I was in front of the play, so I couldn't get the judgment.
And
of the
before
yardage.
that play, I was thinking, like, when are we going to go? I didn't see the ball going deep besides one time to Turbo from Look.
Which we'll talk about
Yeah.
later.
But that was the only pass I seen, and that was
Right.
to a running back. I'm like, all of these weapons we got, come on, let's go. Daniel Jones, first play, the last period, threw it up top,
Yeah.
first play.
Now, apparently, we were told by neighbors who had a media avail after practice that when they were in the huddle, Jones asked him, "You want to go for it?"
Of course,
And because he wasn't sure what kind of look they were going to get, and apparently he asked neighbors, if I can check out or whatever, what do you want? And he goes, no, give me the go.
Yeah.
Give me the go.
Yeah.
Just throw it up there. I'll get it.
He's a guy that wants the
Well,
ball.
he threw it up there,
And he
and
got it.
neighbors got it.
With tough defense on him. Banks was all over him.
He fought him for the ball.
He fought him for the
It was
ball.
right in front of me.
Yeah.
All right. So that was the really awesome pass play of the day, followed by, as the offense quickly got up to the line of scrimmage.
Probably the best ball of the day, that next one.
Oh,
Yeah.
threaded the needle.
Yeah.
Jones now goes back shoulder throw. Oh yeah, I love back
that was
shoulder
beautiful.
throw. Goes back shoulder throw to Jalen Hyatt,
Mm-hmm.
who is now on the right sideline working against Tay Banks once again.
Mm-hmm.
Banks was tight on both plays, but the throw could not have been more perfect,
Yep.
more precise, like a diamond cutter.
Yep.
And both times the receivers came down with the ball.
So for the fans that don't know what a back shoulder ball is, it's the most difficult pass to guard as a defender because it's thrown literally behind the wide receiver with all intention purposes for him to basically slow down or stop and catch the ball. Let's say he's running this way and catch the ball like that. And as a defender is where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
You're in great position. It's almost impossible to guard.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers, he's the king with Devontae Adams, and their whole run, they literally did that probably twice a game, at least twice a game, sometimes more than that. It's almost unguardable, but you have to be able to throw it. Patrick Mahomes know how to throw it. A lot of the top tier quarterbacks, they throw it with their top tier receivers. So that's a good sign that you see Daniel Jones pulling that out. Haven't seen too much back shoulders from him.
No, and you have to throw it to the outside so that only your receiver can get it, and it's harmless if the ball goes out of bounds,
Yes.
right? Because you miss them and it goes, all right, second down.
Yep.
Okay? Here's the thing about it. The Giants haven't run back shoulder throws very much. Even since the last few years of Eli, they stopped doing it.
Yeah, I didn't see Eli throw too much of those.
And that bothered me because it's one of my favorite plays in football. And I was told by the receiving coaches that the reason they didn't do that is because they wanted to focus more on yardage after catch. Back shoulder throw, you don't get yak yardage. Okay. Back shoulder throw, the receiver, as Jonathan said, he has to stop and then position his body appropriately so that he can reach back and grab the ball. Well, once the receiver stops to make that move, he's unlikely to get any yak yardage at all.
Indeed.
You're gonna be downed where you had that ball.
It's a situational play.
It is.
A lot of times it happens in the red zone, really close, and it's a one-on-one. And instead of running the traditional fade ball, it's the same route.
Yeah.
Same fade route, but instead of throwing it up to where it goes up and over the
which
defender.
so many people like to do.
Right, which is fine, but the back shoulder presents, I think, a more difficult cover. As a defender, if you're
Tougher
all over,
throw, too.
It's you have to have. There's no margin for error with that. If you throw it too inside, it's an interception.
Oh,
because you're
boy.
throwing it basically right at the receiver, but instead of throwing it inside to where he's breaking to, you're throwing it to outside, which is hard throw to make, but
It is.
a situational throw.
And you have to trust your receiver.
100%, and the chemistry has to be there.
Yes.
You have to have that. You're not going to go up, throw a back shoulder against a receiver just met. It ain't going to happen. You got to have that chemistry. You got to be able to work with that guy, know exactly where you need to throw it because there's very little margin for error there.
Dearest listener, allow me to unveil a delightful secret. Snag Tights craft clothing that embraces every body shape. In a bold endeavor to revolutionize the fashion realm, Snag has triumphed. Permit me to draw your attention to the ingenious Chub Rub shorts, crafted with moisture-wicking yarn, promising to keep you at least 1 degree cooler and utterly free from the discomfort of chafing. Free shipping on select orders. Thus, the more you snag, the more you save. Do not delay, dear listener. Experience the fashion revolution that is Snag and visit snagtights.us today.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I was so impressed with those back-to-back plays, and that brought them down to like the 1 yard line, and then they went quarterback draw for the touchdown.
And it was easy. They got down there, what,
piece of cake.
30 total seconds of the whole drive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very cool. And that's what Neighbors and Hyatt, if they are able to play to their potential and maximize their upside, that's what they can do to you.
100%. And look, we spoke about this plenty of times over the last few years of me being not only on this program, but the pregame, postgame shows. As a defender, if you have a guy that can take the top off of the defense, it literally changes whatever game plan that you have.
Oh, no doubt.
Like if you go into a game plan going against, a good offense, and they have a guy out there that you have to account for, and that quarterback is going to throw that ball, and they do it early in the game, like you might have a game plan, and it might throw the game plan out.
Well,
because receivers like that change the game.
It sticks in the defender's mind, and they can't get rid of it.
Not a defender, the defenders.
The defense, yes.
Not just one corner.
The coordinator, too.
The coordinator, everybody. The head coach will come over and be like, hey, what are we doing? Are we not doubling that guy? Like I've played against Megatron, like with Revis against them. Like, and I love Revis. Revis couldn't check Megatron. He couldn't.
No.
And we thought he could. Guys like that changes defenses.
Those kinds of guys cause the coordinator to go in at halftime and throw his clipboard against the blackboard and say, what are we doing?
Erase the whole board.
That's it. What are we doing? Got to stop. Got to do something.
We're doing this now.
Exactly. So headache players, if you will. Although, again, I consider headache players guys you game playing for on Monday night, but they become headache players sometimes during the game.
Yep.
Okay, so other big plays today. You mentioned Drew Lock, far down the right sideline, once again, similar in one way to the Jones to Neighbors hookup, although this was a running back.
On a linebacker.
On a linebacker, and blows by, and Turbo Miller down the right sideline catches the long touchdown pass, and, could not have been thrown any better as Locke just looped it in.
Yeah, beautiful ball. They was all like... There's a lot, I was by the DBs, the DBs. I'm by Banks and Fly, and they're sitting there like, that was just a linebacker. But his name is Turbo, though, so that's a hard cover for him. Like, they over there defending him and stuff. Hey, he got beat, bro. It was a good ball, but he got beat. It was some good action out there today.
There was.
Yeah.
Miller also caught a short pass and then darted up the sideline from DeVito and went all the way for a touchdown as well. So that was kind of a sweet play. And I tell you, Turbo Miller, he's intriguing. He's very, very intriguing. We've talked about him since he signed as a potential kickoff return guy. He's intriguing.
Cool name, too. Turbo.
Yeah, for sure. Banks did have a pass defense on Neighbors earlier during the practice, because these two guys love going at each other. And again, I want to make it clear like we did on yesterday's show. Banks has textbook coverage on him, and Neighbors is playing above the X's and the O's to make some of these grabs.
And look, I spoke to Banks about it. I asked him, I said, "What's up with Neighbors? How he said, "Oh, he good." He said he good. He said,
I'm glad he's good.
We out here competing. Look, it's only going to make him better.
He knows that.
Going against Neighbors is going to make Neighbors better, and vice versa. That high level competition, that is what the NFL is all about.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, who are we facing week 1? We got the best receiver in the NFL.
Some Jefferson.
Not the best receiver coming out of college.
Yeah.
Arguably top 3, right? Neighbors. We got the hands down best receiver in the league.
I'd actually rather it be Thomas Jefferson.
Won't we all? But Justin Jefferson, like, and to say that he's the best receiver in the league, that's saying a lot because there's some very talented receivers, even in this division, with Brown and CeeDee. He has to be prepared to cover JJ.
Oh, yeah.
Week one.
That's it.
What better competition than another LSU receiver that has that same type of dog, give me the ball mentality and can go up and get it? He is going to get better before that Vikings game.
Defensively, there was one super spectacular play, the final snap.
To end the game. To end the practice.
Ended the practice. Dable said, that's it, enough. And they called him up. It was Dane Belton, coming over on a short pass from Jones. They were inside the red zone, and Jones is looking to the right corner, and he throws a dart to the right corner, and Belton out of nowhere anticipates, reads the play, cuts in front of the ball, and stretches out, making a diving interception at the 1 yard line. And man, was it sweet.
And to end on that play, too, now you have the offense sitting there because they have off tomorrow? Is it off tomorrow?
Are we off tomorrow?
They off
tomorrow's Saturday. Yeah.
So now they have this play sitting just there for a day, and the offense is going to think about that. So believe that offense is going to come out ready to hit the defense in the mouth when they come back out in practice. Because I remember that. Offense got us the last play, and we ended. Are you just going to end the practice, coach? You just going to end the practice? Now the defensive guys are like on a high note, and the offensive guys are like, we got to get them guys back when we come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll watch for that then on Sunday. Mm-hmm. So those were the highlighted plays of the day. It was very, very bright today. We had cloud cover the first few days of practice. Today it was very, very bright, almost blinding, the sun.
It was nice, though.
It was beautiful. Yeah. The degrees were good. What was it, about 80 degrees, Pearson, you think? Yeah.
And
there was a nice
now,
breeze. Nice breeze. I will say on the whole, the quarterbacks were not as accurate today on the whole. They were not as consistently accurate as they had been the first couple of practices. Yesterday, they were like diamond cutters. The precision was off the charts. Today, the throws, for the most part, were okay, but they were not as consistent, not as precise. I thought I saw a few too many overthrows. Ball a little high, little high, little high, little high. That seemed to be the theme of the day in terms of when they missed.
Yep. And there's not real pressure, even though they have rushers. No one can actually hit the quarterback.
Right.
So for that happening, it's a little, a little bit, I guess. Disappointing, but at the same time,
can't be an A+, right?
Every day is a different day. Defense has good days, offense has good days, and it works back and forth. The ebb and flow of training camp is how it works. And, it's so good, like right now, that, I feel like the health of the team is pretty much okay. You got, a couple guys here and there. Illuminar going down, but him being back out there was great. All you want to see right now, because of course you're installing stuff, you're doing that, but you want to see who your competitors are. You want to see who's going to go out there and compete. And that's what you see in one-on-ones. That's what you see on half line, on individual drills. You see that competitive nature now. And then when you put pads on, now you're going to see who the real dogs are.
The other two items to let you know about would be from the post-practice media sessions when we were able to talk to Neighbors, Runyon. I also had a chance to sit down with Allen Robinson and get some feedback from him. Neighbors said not only do he and Banks love going at each other because he thinks it will make both of them better, but he also said he loves going against Flott too because that's two LSU guys.
And he can cover though. Like Flott is not as like first of all,
well, he doesn't have the size.
Right. Next to Banks is like a linebacker next to like a skinny corner. Because he's more of a skinny corner. But, Banks next to me, he looks like he plays linebacker. Like
Flott's more lanky.
Yeah.
But he's got length.
But he can play. Like
he could definitely
cover.
Play.
He got great feet. He's a great technician. He's great, attacking the mesh point where the ball is
his
being
anticipation and his closing skills are very good.
Yep, he's a good cover, man. He's a good cover.
So Neighbors said he loves going against Flott when he gets a chance to do that also. We also spoke to, in terms of, I told you Runyon talking about Illuminor. He's very impressed with John Michael Schmidt's JMS and his acumen and his football knowledge about how advanced he is in terms of knowing the game as the center on the line. And then also Allen Robinson talking about how he has so much respect for this Giants organization. It's one of the reasons why he wanted to come here. Remember, he was with the Steelers last season, and says that this is really interesting. he talked about how he wants to be the best player he can be. And people think, well, okay, you hear that 100,000 times every year from everybody. He meant it differently. He said, when I say that, I'm talking about I still have some game in me. And I think I can make a roster spot, okay? But it's not just about me performing as well as I can on the field. It's also about me showing my experience to all the young guys and helping them out in the room and going over the details with them and going over all the things that it means to be a pro. Because when I came into this league, this is Allen Robinson, he said, I came into a wide receiver room that did not have any older veterans to show us the way. And I promised myself that I would always do that when I was in a room with younger receivers.
That's awesome.
I need to give back, and I need to make them as good as they can be as well. So when he says, I want to be the best that I can be, it's really twofold, and you don't often hear that from guys.
Yeah.
So that was impressive to me.
Yeah, but that's good. That's good. It's, I was blessed to have guys that helped me, bring me along, when I was young, like John Vilma, Scott Shanley, Scott Vegeta. All of those guys are 8-year veterans, and more, at that point. And yes, you have a young receiver room, and Slayton, I guess, and Robinson are the OGs in the room, right?
Well,
they're the
Robinson's
guys,
the real old
guy.
guy.
but Slayton got what, 7 years?
He's got 6 years.
Six. So Slayton's definitely a proven veteran. He's been having his consistency has been there with the Giants.
Oh, no doubt.
Probably the most consistent guy on the entire offense is Andrew Thomas too. You throw him in there, but Slayton has been very, very consistent. So with guys like that, with the young guys that the Giants have, the Hyatts, the Neighbors, the Wyatts,
Robinson.
Yeah, Robinson, Wandale, yeah, like all of those guys, like it'd be good when you have an older guy that'd be like, hey man, like that guy's gonna play you like this when you do that, because all of the receivers, they know how to run routes. They know that. They know how to run all of the routes.
It's the details.
It's the details. And they got to know how that guy or whatever corner or whatever defense they have. And, everybody's different. But, like, every now and again, you get somebody that will play that differently or different coverage that you face. And you got to do something this minute. And that's everything from catching the ball and getting it broken up. Or getting a first down and falling 2 yards short. Those little details, and a guy like Allen Robinson, he's a guy that's going to help those guys fine-tune those little details and help them situationally.
Now, I want to make sure people understand this because I don't want to slight Darius Slayton at all. He is in his 6th year of the league, and I have seen Slayton working with the young receivers as well. So I don't want you to think like Allen Robinson is filling a void. He's just adding. He's adding to the room because Slayton has worked with the young receivers, and Robinson is now doing the same thing. And I think the thing that I really enjoy watching, and this is back in the spring too, and we told you guys about this on the show, and then I'm going to get to your calls. We've seen the offensive linemen staying out there. We've seen the linebackers staying out there with the secondary. We've seen small groups of individual players who, after practice is over, on their own, and this is not an unusual occurrence, okay? It's not. They're out there and they're going over things. They may only spend 10 minutes, but they're going over something.
Yeah.
I like that. And I think the coaching staff has to love it too because it shows an eagerness and a willingness to spend that little extra time to maybe pick up that one tiny thing that can help.
Yeah, and that's not
it's not required.
Coached or initiated by the coaches.
No, it's the players. In their own locker room.
Yep. And I saw that too. I saw Bobby out there working with the linebackers, kind of, teaching them some things. And then I saw, Daniel Jones, running some routes with some of the guys. And
Daniel does it all the time.
You can't look at the end of the day, like you go out there, you get coached up as a team. It's very little time to work on the details during a traditional practice. It's just the truth. Yeah, you got individual drills, but how much can you really focus on the details? You run one route, then you run another route. Afterwards, you can run the same route 5 or 6 times, and you can figure out that timing with your quarterback. A lot of that stuff does happen away from, practice and team scheduled events.
Well, just, 3 weeks ago, Daniel Jones had 14 of his teammates down in Carolina for his own week-long passing camp, which a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL do now. that's not unique.
For a week, huh? Okay,
But
that's nice.
it's pretty good to do that.
Yeah,
you know.
That's good, man. He's taking his
Especially-
joint serious, man.
Oh, he's taking it
at the
very
end of the day,
serious.
we live or die by Daniel Jones. That's it. That's the 2024 season. That's it.
Does have the ball in his hands,
That's
right?
it. That is it.
All right.
I mean, that's how it is now in the league. Like, it's
Yeah.
not about, as you clearly can see, 26 not being here anymore, the old 26 not being here anymore. It's not a running back driven league like it used to be. It used to be, if you got a guy that you can get the ball to 300 times, he can average 4 yards a carry,
I know.
you'll have success.
And this is going to be a pass to set up the run offense this year.
Yeah, which is
No
fine.
doubt.
Which
No
is
doubt.
which is fine, but that's the way it is now. It's all on Daniel Jones.
201-939-4513 is the phone number. Hit it on your phone. Give us a call. Be part of the show. Paul Dottino, Jonathan Casillas. We go to Dan from Connecticut. You are first on Big Blue Kickoff Live. Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can,
Yes,
Dan.
Hey,
How are you?
Good. How you doing, Jonathan and Paul?
We're very well, thank you.
Good. I wrote
that's
down 5 things here that I wanted to say, and I can't even read my own writing, but
Maybe you need to type them out.
yeah. Yeah, I'm a lifelong Giant fan. I'm
Yes, sir.
64 years old. I was a usher at Yale Bowl when I was 14.
Wow.
Also, my father
I think
used
you
to
might have
also
sold me a Coke while I was there for a game one time.
My father used to also take me to Fairfield and watch the
Fairfield University, sure.
Yeah. And I just had a few things I wanted to say. You guys were talking about heat stroke. I had heat exhaustion one time at Camp Pendleton. I wasn't used to the hills because on Paris Island they don't have hills, but it's not pretty when you get it.
No, for sure.
Lucky they got me out of there. Then the second thing I wanted to say was, I can't read me already. Burns. I think Brian Burns is going to help a lot.
Oh, yeah. You better.
And I think, I'm expecting a little more out of Gano this year. And then I wrote down 527.
Well, just remember, before you go further, Gano had injured his plant knee during last season, tried to kick through it, which turned out to be not a great decision.
Yeah, Jets game, right?
And then had to get it taken care of during the offseason. So he's been out there kicking a lot of stuff, not all of it, but he's been out there doing some kicking stuff already. And as far as I know, he's good to go for the year. Good. So don't really worry about him. At least I wouldn't think so.
Okay. And I know Daniel Jones' birthday is 5/27, May 27th, which is the same birthday as me.
Cool.
I want to make so. I'm just telling you, you don't challenge somebody that was born on May 27th.
Okay.
I really think that this guy is going to come through, and also Neil. I think Neil's been challenged, and I'm in their corner, and I just try to go by what I see. I see Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor can take that team downfield and fast. It's other things, that if they fall into place, we could have a good team.
Well, Dan, we appreciate the call, and we will invite you to call again.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. 201-939-4513. Let me ask you one real quick question before we go back to the calls. I was on the sideline for a little bit with Banks today, Carl Banks. And I said to him, Carl, how much Panthers tape did you study of Brian Burns after the deal brought him to the Giants? He said, actually, I've spent a lot of time looking at Panthers tape. I said, good, because I've only watched some, little snippets. He goes, the one thing that I really like about him, he doesn't let the offensive lineman get his body into him.
Yeah.
He keeps him at length.
But he's not a big guy either.
Well, because he's very pliable and quick.
Yep.
And so if the bigger 330-pound lineman can't get his beef into him, that's the whole key.
Yeah, that was crazy. But, yeah. Listen, him and Kayvon are very similar in stature. They're big guys, but they're not big pass rushers, if that makes any sense. Like, they're pass rushers like a Alden Smith. Remember Alden Smith?
Oh, yeah, sure.
He was like 6'6".
Yeah.
Long arms all the way down to his ankles. Like, those guys, they're tall and they're long, but they're not that big, though. Like, they're only like 6'2", maybe 6'3", around 250. So not huge guys. So guys that are I would say little, that's going against guys that outweigh them by anywhere from 50 to 70 pounds, you can't get absorbed by them. You have to, be arm's length away.
You'll get suffocated.
You have to be so quick and so explosive that even if they're on you, they can't really get you.
Right.
Because you're so slippery, you're so sticky. And I saw him and O'Hara, they were doing
best move.
Yeah, the best move.
Yeah.
And you saw the ghost move that they did?
Yeah.
I said, I would like to see that. I'd like to see that pulled out really early, preferably.
Dearest listener, allow me to unveil a delightful secret. Snag Tights craft clothing that embraces every body shape. In a bold endeavor to revolutionize the fashion realm, Snag has triumphed. Permit me to draw your attention to the ingenious Chub Rub shorts, crafted with moisture-wicking yarn, promising to keep you at least 1 degree cooler and utterly free from the discomfort of chafing. Free shipping on select orders. Thus, the more you snag, the more you save. Do not delay, dear listener. Experience the fashion revolution that is Snag and visit snagtights.us today.
Back to the phone to 201-939-4513. Mike is in Oakland. I don't know if that's New Jersey or California, but Mike, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thanks. It's California, but I'm from Jersey.
Hey, well, all right. So you qualify on both fronts.
All right. Hey, I just wanted to flip this thing over to Evan Neal for a minute.
Yeah.
And I'm calling because I refuse to give up on the guy, and I think people are giving up on him too early. I'd like to just give you my thoughts on why that is and why we shouldn't give up on him yet. So I went back and looked at a whole bunch of pre-draft evaluations of the guy, and I was excited when we drafted him, and it's different. Like I remember. Not to beat on him, but when we drafted Eric Flowers, I was like, who, what, this guy played for a big program and was supposedly uncoachable, and it didn't work out for us. And everybody's got Eric Flowers, hangover, but everybody that I read thought Evan Neal was an excellent player at the time, and that includes Cynthia Freeland on her Giants Huddle interview. And, number one, he's a young guy. He's switching to right tackle, and he's been injured. And I remember just in recent memory, Andrew Thomas, Paul, you like to talk about headache player, and you're usually talking about, somebody who's quick, who can get open. But I say Andrew Thomas is a headache player on offense because the defense can't get around him, can't beat him.
That's fair.
And so his rookie season, he was a bust. His second year, he improved, but then he also injured his foot and had some struggles. And now he's, arguably the best player on the team. So, I look at Evan Neal. Nobody ever said the guy is not coachable. He seems like he is.
Well, he played under Saban at Alabama. I mean, if he's not coachable, then something doesn't make sense there. Because
he
you have to be
under Saban.
That's the point. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's got the physical skills. He didn't have a lot of detractors at the number 7 overall pick, and he's been injured. He's young, and coaching matters. I looked at our offensive line, and this is what I know about Bobby Johnson. When he was coaching our offensive line, it could not handle simple twists and stunts. And so I read that and I say, that guy, he wasn't doing a good job. And that's who Evan Neal was playing under. So I say, look, number one, let the guy heal up. Let him get some coaching under Carmen Brasilia, who I'm really optimistic about. And, maybe he doesn't start at right tackle for the Giants this season because he has some delays due to his off-season surgery. But to think that, to just give up with this guy, I could totally see him by the end of the year being a dominant right tackle, and that's what I'm, hoping for.
Well, Mike, I think the Giants know that the payoff, if Neal works out, is huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
And you said something about Andrew Thomas being a bust after year 1. I think that's what you said.
Yeah,
there's no such thing. There's no such thing.
Yeah,
there's no such thing.
That's true.
You can't be a bust after 1 year.
That's true. You can't
be.
He was somewhat disappointing as a rookie.
Yeah. You could definitely say that, but there's no way you can be a bust after 1 year.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it takes a little while to catch on to playing with these grown men out there on the field. It takes a little while to catch on.
And to be
I agree
honest,
with you, but
go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, I was just going to say that there's a difference between what somebody who's played in the league, how they look at stuff, and how and what the chatter is. And the chatter on him, the chatter on him was ruthless, and that he was a bust. And it's people are really quick to give up on players in this league. And I'm no great athlete. I played some sports, and I've coached, but I'm a good observer. And every time you jump up, when you go from just playing club to high school, when you go from high school to college, when you go from college to the pro, each one of those jumps is big.
Sure.
And it's a rare player that doesn't take some time to adjust.
Right.
But people are so quick to just give up on these guys, man.
You're right. You're right. Try to stay off Twitter as much as you can.
Yeah. And
this way you won't deal with the false narratives. Really, I hate to say it, but that's the truth. The only thing I will say to you about my definition of headache player is that guy who the coordinator has to stay up all Monday night. Right? I've said this many times. He stays up all Monday night figuring how am I going to deal with that guy? I don't know that Andrew Thomas playing a left tackle draws that type of attention.
No.
I understand your point.
No.
He's solid, and the other team probably says, all right, we're probably not going to get a lot of pressure on that side of the line.
Yeah.
I get that, but I don't think a coordinator stays up all night worried about Andrew Thomas.
No.
But I understand what
fair
you're
enough.
trying to say.
All right, well, my prediction is by the end of the year, Evan Neal is playing right tackle, and he's playing it well.
It'd be great.
We hope so.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
Call us again. 201-939-4513. Lines are open. We go to line 3. It's Charlie in Maine. Charlie, you coming to camp this year?
No, I'm not going to be able to go.
Sorry. Hey, we enjoyed seeing you up there in Foxborough that one time.
I know. Hey, if it was in Foxborough, I'd go. But if I'm going to spend the money to go, I'd go to a game.
Okay. There you go. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Hey, JC, how you doing?
I'm good, Charlie. How's it going?
Good. I just want to say I called Thomas a bust the first year. And let me tell you why. If you're picked the 4th in the draft and you play as bad as he did, my definition of bust is for that 1 year being picked so high and playing so bad. When there's other guys who were picked 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and they play really well their rookie year. And it just seems like we always get a guy who's we pick in the top 10. We always say, they have to develop. It takes them time. Whereas other teams pick these guys, and they're great the first year they start playing.
Charlie, I'm going to be very respectful here and ask you a question.
Yeah.
If you have your own definition of bust, which is different than other people's, because there is a generic definition of bust, which means the guy has to prove over some time that he didn't do it. Okay?
Right.
But you have a different definition. That's a Charlie definition. That's fine.
Yes.
You can have that. As long as you issued a retraction when he became second team All-Pro. And as it stands now, right? And as long as you did that, then that's okay within the scope of your context.
Yeah. Because the 3rd year, he was not a bust. All right?
Okay.
I'm just saying.
All right. Well, we're clear now. At least we're clear, and we're being fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other thing, JC, I wanted to ask you, why? Why does all these players have to have 20 mentors? Don't you? What are the coaches doing? Aren't they the ones that are supposed to teach these guys what to do? I mean, why do you have to have a veteran come over and talk to you, and you got to have this guy over to talk? I mean, isn't there like 1,000 voices in your friggin' head? Why? What are the coaches doing?
Well,
tell me.
Well, you think about this, right?
You're a player.
Let's take the defensive back room, right? Right now, there's how many D-backs? Probably about 15.
Yep.
On the roster.
There's a slew of them.
And the Giants are going to keep active 6 or 7, maybe 8.
Okay.
How many they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
about 8 or 9.
The coaches right now, it's almost impossible for them to go over details because they got to coach 15 guys. Even if it's 3 guys in the room coaching, that's still 5 guys, and you're running rapid plays. There's no time to reflect. You run one play, the second team, they run 2 or 3 plays in a row, that second team is going right there. You got a little bit time for adjustments, just a little bit, but the coaches are coaching the guys on the field. They can't talk about what just happened. There's no offense going out there. It's defense, 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 defense against the offense. So right now, it's very hard for the coaching to actually coach during practice. It's almost impossible.
If I could relate a story to you, Charlie, and this might help a little bit, and maybe you've had this happen also, Jonathan. There was a play yesterday that was run during the practice, and they were watching it in the film room after practice, and Brian Daboll relayed this story to us this morning. And it was something regarding neighbors. It was a route or a particular play, whatever it was. There was a little bit of a detail that Daboll pointed out in the film room to neighbors while they were going over the day's practice highlights. And Allen Robinson, after Daboll had mentioned it and explained it, Allen Robinson said, "Oh, Coach, hold on a second. Could you run that back one more time?" Robinson asked Coach if he could do it again because Robinson saw something and thought that he could maybe relate the point or the detail to neighbors, player to player, as opposed to coach to player. And then Allen Robinson went up to neighbors and then gave his player perspective on what had happened to the play. And Daboll praised Robinson for that, showing you what a pro he is and what kind of leadership that he's taking, because he took it upon himself to go and do that for the youngster.
And Charlie, I have another example of two safeties that wasn't as talented as the safety that they were helping, but they helped him tremendously. Brandon Merriweather, Craig Dahl, and Landon Collins. When Landon Collins was in New York, there wasn't that, like, he didn't have that tag on him being not a great pass defender. He didn't have that until he left here, basically. I don't think he had that. He was a box safety, yes.
Right. Wasn't those for his coverage.
He wasn't a bad coverage guy. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't get that, I feel like, until he left New York. And maybe that last year because we were all bad on defense in 2017.
Yeah. And he had been banged up,
so
too.
everybody was pretty much bad that year. But before that, Craig Dahl and Brandon Merriweather worked with him one-on-one all the time. And you need guys like that. You know why? Because Landon Collins got in to play their position. They drafted Landon to take their spot, to take Brandon Merriweather or Craig Dahl's place on the roster, meaning as a starter. And they were there working with him extra. No one else in the room. It was just them three, and he did it all the time. So they helped Brandon. I mean, they helped Landon. They helped Landon like tremendously.
See, player-to-player communication's different than coach-to-player.
It's so different because players know how to talk to players. Coaches generally speak. Some coaches can connect to this, very smart, high intelligent, high IQ player. But what about the guy that's maybe not that high IQ, maybe not as efficient in the classroom on the board as the next guy? How do you speak to him in his language or how he can understand it? Players do a really good job at that, especially guys that's been around the block and that know some things and that's been teaching different guys in places that they've been.
Charlie, that's your answer.
Mm-hmm.
But, JC, have you ever had a situation where you've got too many people in your ear?
No.
Telling you two or three different things.
No,
the
because
coach is telling you one thing, the mentor is telling you another thing, this guy's telling you something else.
No, you have to practice discernment. Like, you have to understand who has the last call, which is the coach has the last call, right? You're going to go out there and perform what he wants you to do, understanding the knowledge that you were taught or, just having it in the back of your mind. Like you can't get overwhelmed with information because you need information. You need as much information as possible. Like when you go into a game against, I used to play against Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. You know what Peyton Manning would do at the line of scrimmage? You know how much information, what I'm saying? That so it's not about like the information and totally overload and too many chefs in the kitchen, none of that. It's about being able to pick and choose what you're hearing to help you on the field. And that goes with experience. Like a lot of guys, when they're young, they're going to make mistakes. That's what happens with all rookies. That's why, some people don't trust rookie quarterbacks. Some people don't trust rookie cornerbacks. Some people wouldn't dare put a middle linebacker as a rookie out there to call a defense. Sure. Some guys are built different. Some guys are a little bit more ready than others. But for me, you got to practice discernment. You got to figure out what's good for you that you can use, and what that somebody's telling you that says that might apply to you, but it really won't apply to me. And you're lucky to get all of that information. You're lucky to get that.
Charlie, final point is that's why coaches are very particular about the locker room leaders that they bring in.
Right.
Because they know that those locker room leaders will have the same message that they want to express, but maybe the player-to-player communication will allow it to soak in better.
Yep.
If the locker room leaders don't have the same message as the coaches, now you could run into disconnect. That's where it gets a little bit haywire. Okay?
Yeah. Hey, just one. Yeah, no, I understand. One more thing, just that I don't put much emphasis on camp, because there's no real pass rush or anything.
Yeah,
so,
I get it.
I'm just saying. But I'll just say this, right? Out of 22 passes Jones had, 6 were deep balls, and he only hit 1 of those. That's all I want to say. Thanks, guys.
I didn't see him out there today.
Charlie's funny. He had to take a shot. He had to.
Well, he had to.
He had to. It wouldn't have been him if he didn't.
I didn't see him at practice today.
Yeah, but then also Charlie and everybody out there, Daniel Jones missed how long? 8 months he was out for?
Yeah, well.
Imagine you miss 8 months at your job. You're going to get out there and look exactly how, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to take some time.
It's interesting. He didn't call yesterday when Daniel Jones was all universe.
He called today.
Literally, okay, could throw the ball and hit a hair on the top of a fly's head. That's how good he was yesterday. But Charlie didn't want to call us yesterday.
He called today.
No, he wanted to call today because the quarterback play was a little bit less consistent. Okay, I get it, Charlie. I get it. You can have your fun. 201-939-4513. I know we got to get these quick sponsorships in, and I want to get to this other call before we kick it out of here. Remember, the Giants Foundation will host the 5K race and kids run presented by Quest on Saturday, September 7th at 9 a.m. at MetLife Stadium. Net proceeds will benefit the Giants Foundation. All participants receive a commemorative T-shirt. After the race, stay for a post-race festival with appearances by Giants legends and a live DJ. Register now at Giants.com/5K. The Giants Huddle Podcast, we tell you about it every day. Giants and NFL dignitaries, players, coaches, famous people, they're all on there. Big long-form interviews. John did a bunch of positional interviews with the players on the roster right before camp. They're all up there. They're on your favorite podcast platforms and at Giants.com/podcasts. Season tickets for 2024, they are available now. To learn more about exclusive member benefits, visit Giants.com/tickets. And finally, Giants TV is the free promotional app where you can get all kinds of Giants stuff. It's free on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon, Fire TV, and the Giants mobile app. All right, back to the calls. 201-939-4513. We do have somebody on hold, and it's Eric in Florida. You're next on BBKL. Hello.
Hey, Paul. Hey, JC. How are you guys doing?
All right.
Long-time fan. I love the show. Love both of you guys.
Thank you.
I've been listening for a very, very long time. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I am trying still to wrap my head around why we would not keep Saquon. Like, after watching Hard Knocks,
bro,
it feels like we could have got. I know it's over, but it's just after watching Hard Knocks, you just feel like, man, had we just reached out to him, I think we could have grabbed him. And then you look at the team now, and it's like, imagine him on the team, along with everybody else that we've added. How much more dangerous our offense would be. I'll take my answer off the air, but again, I love you guys. You guys are awesome.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Y'all still talking about Saquon here?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Because I haven't been on in a while.
Right, just wait till the Giants play the Eagles twice this season.
Oh, yeah. I already know.
Okay, just wait.
Yeah.
You think the conversation is going to go away then? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Look, without going through the whole rigmarole once again, 201-939-4513. We'll try to get another call or two in. The one thing that I will say, Jonathan, in retrospect, after everything played out the way it is, remember one thing. Joe Shane tried to sign him to a multi-year contract before last season.
Like multiple times.
3 times.
Yeah.
3 times. And they couldn't come to a deal. Now, let me ask you a question. Why would he offer the same deal that he offered to Barkley back then when he was another year older, played with another sprained ankle again last season, even though he was really good, but it was another sprained ankle with another year on his tires? Why would the Giants overpay, if you will, and offer him the same deal that they offered him the year before? Why would they do that? That doesn't make good business sense, does it?
No. But I feel like Joe Shane I feel like he's putting business first and taking his emotions out of it.
No doubt.
Because...
And by the way, this will become a pass-first offense now, too.
Yes.
Remember that.
Yes. Look, I love Saquon as a person. Of course, I love him as a player too. We all do. I
get it.
And
as
we all
fan, we're gonna
we all
miss him.
hate that he's playing for the other
Without
team.
a doubt.
We all on the same page about that.
Nobody's going to deny that.
But and be real about this. The Eagles overpaid for him for the market.
Yes.
For the market.
Well, they did
because they hit a number that the Giants just couldn't match. They couldn't match that, and not that Saquon can come. The Giants wouldn't match it. They couldn't. I mean, what do you get? It's like 48 total, 27 guaranteed, something like that.
The number, if I understood, if everything kicks in, when we watched Hard Knocks and they were talking in the Joe Shane's office, it was over 13, like 13 and a half
a year.
And then,
per year.
Yeah, was like the average per year, and that's just way too high.
Yeah, but the
Giants
guarantee
have too many other holes they have.
The guarantee was too high. And
the guarantee was too high. The average
what he could possibly make was extremely high.
Right.
So the Eagles overpaid, but also the Eagles have a little bit more pieces involved.
Well, they think they can win now.
But if you think about it, right? Think about the other NFC team that's been having a lot of success, how much they paid their running back. The Niners. But the Niners also have other pieces involved where they can afford to pay a running back $16 million a year because they have the left tackle,
running into trouble
the tight
with
end,
Ayuk now,
the
who
receivers.
wants his piece of the pie.
At some time, somebody's going to get in trouble. Like there's going to be some type of situation where somebody has to get paid. Ours happen to be the running back and the quarterback went up at the same time.
Look, the only way the Niners can afford to pay McCaffrey what they do is because Purdy's making dirt change.
Right. Once that changes, what we got to see what San Fran does. Because once they have to pay a quarterback, you can't have the highest paid left tackle. You can't have the highest paid defensive end. You can't have the third highest paid tight end, first highest paid runner. You can't do it.
We had Mickey Spagnola on, who works for Cowboys.com, longtime Cowboys media guy. And he said to John and I when we were doing the show and talking about the Cowboys, they got a major problem that they're about to face because, in theory, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, and Dak Prescott, in theory, could potentially be the first time in NFL history that they would have 3 guys on the same roster who are the highest paid at the NFL
at
their positions. That's suicide in this league, given the way the financial rules are constructed.
Yep. And, I mean, if you really think about it, too, like you look at Tom Brady's whole entire career, not that he took pay cuts and stuff like that. He just took a little bit less than the market value for himself, but he won it back in Super Bowls. He won that back in Super Bowls.
How'd that work out?
It worked out pretty well for him. I think so. And Tampa gave him like $40 a year when he was there, so he's okay.
And so simply put, the number, and if you recall too, when Joe actually at one point during the Hard Knocks says to the agent, well, if you're saying like if we did offer this, he stays a Giant, right? And the agent was like,
never. No, he never committed to the answer.
He wouldn't even commit to that.
No.
So you know what that says to me? That says to me that the agent and Barkley had already determined the Giants were going to be used as leverage. They were not necessarily too anxious to come back here, even if the number was the same. It sounds to me like They wanted to use Joe Shane as leverage, and Joe was not willing to be used as a pawn.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, it's an interesting move because, Saquon feels slighted that they basically made him go to the market, right? Mm-hmm. But my thing is, and I thought about this too.
He should be happy. Right? Look at the money he got.
So, right, I think about this, right? I thought about this too. So Joe Burrow and who's the other quarterback that got paid in that division first before Lamar Jackson got paid? The Browns, Watson. So they got paid. Watson got that fully guaranteed contract.
And that,
right? Listen,
doesn't count.
Listen. So Watson got the fully guaranteed contract. Yeah. Joe Burrow got paid crazy.
Yeah.
So I thought about this, like, what if those owners just try to put stress on that team so they know that when Lamar Jackson comes up, they're going to have a problem. They're going to have a problem trying to pay that guy, right? So think about this, right? I thought about what if the Eagles offered Saquon thinking that he was going to go back to the Giants?
Oh my goodness.
You thought about and Saquon said, no, I don't want to go back. I'll stay here. You know what I mean? So instead of like forcing the Giants' hand to pay him more, they took on the bill for him.
I don't think that happened, but it's a funny concept. It is a funny concept, but that's also, by the way, because of the number and everything that we just talked about a minute ago, that's why Joe Shane did not tag him a second time.
Yeah.
Okay? Because the Giants originally could have tagged him a second time.
But he would have been not happy.
But it would have been over $12 million a year.
Yeah, right.
And that's not a number that Joe was willing to go by. Joe wanted him back. John Mara wanted him back.
Yeah.
But at their number.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're done with that for the time being. Table the Barkley talk until the Eagles and Giants play a couple of months into the regular season.
And we get to do it twice, too. So let's leave it for now, right? We get to do it twice.
As somebody said to me the other day, how do we know for sure that Barkley's going to be available to play against the Giants?
That's true.
We don't know that.
That's true.
201-939-4513. Write it down. We are here every weekday. At least for the time being, it's live 1 p.m. Eastern Time because of the Giants practice schedule. We'll let you know when that changes, and you could always hit us up at #GiantsChat as well. That'll do it for this edition of Big Blue Kickoff Live, presented by Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Football Giants. For Jonathan Casillas, I'm Paul Dottino. We'll see you next time.
Cocoa Beach, not only Orlando's closest beach, but Florida's spaciest. Put your feet in the sand and pull up your front row seats to America's missions to space. Watch rocket launches right from the beach. The legacy of the space race surrounds you on Cocoa Beach. Head to Kennedy Space Center to learn the history and future of space exploration. Cocoa Beach is perfect for space enthusiasts, young and old alike. Plan your own mission online at legendarycocobeach.com on Florida's Space Coast.
Vitamin Water was born in New York because New Yorkers wanted more flavor to pair with all the amazing food in the city. Vitamin Water is so New York, its 3 favorite cheeses are chopped cheese, bacon, egg, and cheese, and a slice of cheese pizza. Drink Vitamin Water. It's from New York.